And we are back, everybody, for our second series of the day and the final series on this stream, twitch.tv/FaceItTV. Again, make sure you have both streams pulled up, but we got to break down Team Liquid Academy versus 100 Thieves Academy, which is definitely one for the ages, especially, Joshi, given the history of these two teams after last year.
Woo! It's my match of the week, potentially my match of the season so far. Team Liquid Academy versus 100 Thieves Academy. These two teams played 3 best-of-5s against each other at the end of summer and had an end score of 8-7 in 100 Thieves' favor. The amount of games these two teams were able to play against each other was absolutely ridiculous. And we have so many returning players from these two teams. They were so dominant in summer last year. And now that we have to see which one of these teams is going to be continuing to hold up the mantle that we had for these guys at the beginning of the season, because we both expected both these teams are going to look absolutely banging.
Now, before I pass it to you, Rafa, I want to give some clarification there. Gamsu returning for 100 Thieves Academy because he played in the Proving Grounds run. Kenvi played through Academy with them, so two essentially returning members from that rivalry. Team Liquid Academy are Mayo, Harry, Jan all here. So there's a lot of players that will remember those long best of series going into the day. But Rafa, now your thoughts on this historic matchup.
I mean, we started off with the Academy Summer semifinals, where it was Team Liquid Academy who eventually were victorious in that first longly drawn-out best-of-5, going to full 5 games. In fact, every single best-of-5 has gone to all 5 games. It's just been... That's a testament to how close those two teams were throughout the entire end of summer. And then that is when Kenvi was still on the roster for them. But then as we moved into Summer Proving Grounds, Chad came in, who's now on Immortals Academy because he was on 100 Next. And then Team Liquid Academy, I mean, they were trying to work with the pieces that they had, as Armeo and Jenkins got to go with Team Liquid to Europe when they were prepping for Worlds in 2021. And so that not only called up Dokla, but also Inori, who has been with Team Liquid in the past. And, you know, they fought through tooth and nail against 100 Thieves, even with their own subs coming in as well.
I think the thing that I loved about all these series was how back and forth they were, right? You had a bunch of super even games, right? I picked a bunch of clips here where people are coming out in very, very small fashions, or these really big plays that people are going for, because that was it. There was a close game, and then the next game after, we would have 100 Thieves, you know, completely dumpster Team Liquid. We had one of the fastest games of the entire summer split happen between these two teams in Game 3 of, I believe it was winners finals of Proving Grounds, where 100 Thieves just dismantled them. 10,000 gold lead at 13 minutes.
And on that note, now it's the modern day version of these two teams. So yes, historically they had a great run, both of them in the summer, but both of them sitting more towards middle of the pack. 100 Thieves still pushing towards the top there. But I'm hearing that we're already ready to hop into pick and ban. So I'll hand it back to the two of you to talk about the current look of each of these rosters as we get ready for game number 1.
All right.
Kangas, these guys are ready to throw it down already on the Rift. And whether they've got some new members joining the ranks of 100 Thieves Academy, or newcomer Bradley coming in for Team Liquid Academy as well, both of these teams are ready to represent their org proudly. As you know what, Kangas, I think we'll just keep you around.
I guess so. Yeah. I'm just kind of hanging out at this point. I mean, y'all keep your conversation going.
Oh yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about Team Liquid, because for people who have been following Academy for a long time, you will remember this face, though it didn't have any facial hair back then. And we were able to see all these players have a lot of success throughout that time, right? Armeo, Harry, and Jan, kind of the core that Team Liquid has been building around. But their new 2 members, Bradley and Rhino, coming in. Bradley coming as a mid lane, previously a mid laner for Collegiate Squad. Now moving up to the top lane, as we've seen a lot of people moving from mid to support. Bradley says, I don't think there's a lot of good top laners here in the scene. I'm going to take it over and look for an opportunity to take total control. And on the other side, 100 Thieves, they have Gamsu, who has had a lot of opportunity to swap as well. He was a League of Legends player, then again, Overwatch is now back to League of Legends, and is getting remarkably close to actually finding his way back to the tip-top of competition.
Yeah, won a championship in Overwatch too.
True.
With Shanghai Dragons. So, and I mean, Gamsu already an international title holder.
Yeah.
So he's
It's like
coming in
Michael
with the
Jordan.
pedigree of even though swapping esports and coming back to League of Legends, his growth has been so rapid.
Yeah.
Because when we saw him come back into the scene towards the summer, he wasn't with 100 Thieves Next for the entire year of 2021. He came in as a replacement towards the beginning of the summer split. And at the beginning, he was just playing tank duty. He's just role-playing, being the frontline engage. But then as they progressed through Summer Proving Grounds, and as we already seen in results from the first 2 weeks of Academy play this year, Gamsu is not only being a primary carry role, he's also being given hard-to-execute picks that are in counter-pick situations. Things like the Tryndamere come to mind, the Jace as well.
And I think the big thing that we also have to know is whenever 100 Thieves are able to find these victories, it's typically because Gamsu is getting involved. The games where they've been losing are games where Gamsu is just kind of left off in the side lane and never really interacts with the rest of the team. But I think that's something that, once it's identified, is super easy for them to fix. And 100 Thieves should be able to find their way towards it. And while I said this might be my match of the week or match of the season thus far, we have to note that I do think, despite my loyalty to Team Liquid, 100 Thieves are favored going into this series, right? We are going to be seeing whether Bradley is going to be able to hold up to Gamsu, who we've been painting as such a pretty picture of.
There's honestly a lot of exciting matchups that we could really delve into. Kenvi and Armeo, probably the two long-standing members of both of these organizations, as Armeo has been with Team Liquid for quite some time. Kenvi, not necessarily with the Academy squad, but he has been in 100 Thieves for now 2 years, ever since being brought in onto the first class of 100 Thieves Next, the amateur squad for this organization, the first of its kind ever, which then led to more organizations building their own tier 3 developmental rosters as well that could be bumped up into Academy at some point. And Kenvi has been one of the prodigies that has been brought in so early into the system, and he remains probably one of the favorite players to not only be at the top of our standings for Academy, but also be looking to start an LCS next year.
Yeah. I also want to point out something that we are seeing coming in from Team Liquid, right? They're the ones who are going to be banning away the Zeri and the Corki. And what this typically is doing is when you are going to be banning these top of the meta picks, it usually shows that you think that your opponents can play kind of whatever they want, and you just need to limit the strongest picks that are available. And that's why we're seeing Jimian going back towards the Twisted Fate, something that is still playable on 12.2, though not really so much on 12.3. But Twisted Fate, something that Jimian has had a lot of success with historically, and as he brings it to the table, is kind of throwing down the gauntlet, saying, Harry, I don't think you're going to be strong enough to punish me.
It's all about facilitation for 100 Thieves, and now that Busio has come back into the fold, this is the full starting roster that 100 Thieves wanted, but we have to take a quick pivot because Team Liquid say, oh, you're going to pick a Twisted Fate? We're going to punish that. Yasuo Diana, baby, let's go.
Let's go. I love this combination coming through. That's a lot of confidence right off the bat. Armeo, I had kind of in my notes that he hasn't been looking quite as strong this split as he was during summer. Last time he was able to always create these strong plays later on in the game. And oh my god, Mark, I think we might actually be getting the Renekton Nidalee coming through. This is 100 Thieves coming to play. They got punished for this really hard last week and had so much success the week before. So 100 Thieves, if they go with this kind of style, are definitely going to be flipping a coin at like a 60-40, saying, hey, we think we are better than you and we are ready to prove it.
Gwen's going to be the answer into the Renekton. Full topside being completely locked in by both teams, and you already see the story for both squads and their composition. This is a Kenvi facilitation style right here. This is his classic Nidalee, something he made a name on ever since back in 2020 on the 100 Thieves Next squad. It's all about those point and click stuns that can land, set up those easy spears, and get him snowballed ahead. As you already mentioned before, we've seen this story of the Kenvi Nidalee in two folds. Either in the TSM series, they get massively ahead, Kenvi runs over the game, there's nothing the enemy team can do about it, or in the Cloud9 series, they don't find the same snowball, and it gets outpaced very fast.
So we'll see which version of 100 Thieves is going to be coming to the table today. Lots of strength coming in from both top sides of the map, and that kind of leads to the question, what are Jan Rhino and Wixie Busio going to be playing? Because, Rhino, relatively new coming to this. I think this is his first opportunity to actually play in an academy squad, and he's going to be looking to try and impress the members of Team Liquid. Whereas Busio, we know, Cubby already talked about in a video earlier in the day, Busio, we have high expectations for. This guy's been looking really, really strong so far. And if Wixie Busio can create enough space with the spectacular mechanics of youth and the Zoomer energy that they were bringing out, it's going to be super, super easy for 100 Thieves topside to just freely run around and control the rest of the game.
And that is how Wixie phrased it as we were catching up with him this morning. I'm pretty sure he was quoting Mike Guy from Naruto there. That sounds like something that he would say.
Youth.
It's the power of youth. But for Team Liquid, notice how they are banning out the Ezreal Karma because they already know that the focus is not going to be through the bottom half of the map. It's going to be towards the top side. So already trying to eliminate one of Wixie's safer picks in this Ezreal. The other thing, though, is that if Wixie and Busio are talking about playing some mechanically complex champions, some things that are super spicy, another pick. Oh, we know Busio has a fantastic set. It's another way to set up Nidalee Spears with that Facebreaker. Team Liquid, snipe it away.
Very interesting coming through for Rhino. Definitely not the most common pick in the support role these days, but when you have so many champions on the side of 100 Thieves just looking to brawl, Set is very resistant to burst, and so Rhino going to be setting himself up as another frontline member. But the big thing that I'm looking from Team Liquid is they have 4 melee champions. This is setting themselves up for a ton of AoE, but there's just not that much of it coming out from 100 Thieves. The only character that's really going to be able to punish this super effectively is going to be the Jink that Wixie has just drafted for themselves, and he's going to be so happy. This Ruin's Hurricane is going to be hitting everybody. The rockets are going to be doing crazy amounts of damage, and realistically, 100 Thieves are very willing to just have this brawl up in front while allowing Wixie to free hit. The only thing preventing that, and this is an important thing, is the Wind Wall and the Hallowed Mist coming through from Gwen. This is going to be a big test of whether or not Wixie is going to actually be able to do the damage necessary to pump through all of these melee champions that Team Liquid have drafted.
Depending on how Team Liquid wrap this all up, it's still Jan's pick to go. What marksman will he go for, as not many options are still available? Whoa!
Okay,
Josh,
okay.
We gotta call the whole town. We gotta call a meeting. We gotta tell the people over on twitch.tv/academies like, yo,
get over here.
You gotta pull up on the second monitor and you gotta tune into this, because this is gonna be a hell of a smackdown.
Let's get those stretches out. Kangas, I'm gonna make you proud. Do a little bit of stretches. We gotta get loose and limber because these teams are here to fight right now. It's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna have fun. You're gonna have fun. You might need to undo another button before this game is over, because 100 Thieves and Team Liquid, they have a rivalry to uphold. They want to be the ones who go back with Game 1 in their pockets, and it is going to be a bloodbath between these two teams.
As Mazel said on the range video we saw earlier today, it's going to be a spicy one on the Rift today, y'all. 100 Thieves. For us, this is bread and butter. This is signature for someone like Kenvi, who has made a name for himself on this specific pick. But for Team Liquid Academy, when we think back to last week and how they played, it was much more controlled, more standard in terms of composition style, right? Things like the Corki and the Victor. But we know that Harry, in the past, he made his name during the summer on Team Liquid Academy, playing a lot of fighter champions. The Lee Sin was one of the things that he excelled incredibly well at, and now they're really dipping in and giving him the reins to play something like a Yasuo that requires an insane amount of execution and precision to get success on.
And meanwhile, Team Liquid, like you said, it's such a different style, right? Typically, Armeo plays a lot more passive early game. He doesn't necessarily been going for a lot of ganks, whereas now on the Diana with the Yasuo, you have such an obvious go button. You know exactly when it is that you're going to be trying to get these fights started, and it's going to be really important for him now that the team has trusted him with the tools to actually get these fights started. He needs to be the one to start making all these plays. He needs to be running around the map with Harry to make them both look really good. And I'll be honest, Mark, I don't know the last time that I saw Harry on Yasuo. I don't know if I've ever seen him play this champion.
This might be our first time seeing him on the Academy channel, at least. Maybe he's played it over during his time in Oceania, but yeah, for us, this is a hell of a treat for sure. But there's other things that we have to look at, and it's going to be so difficult, Josh, because there's so many things to be excited about. Obviously, we've already talked about the Kenvi Nidalee, and we're talking about Busio also coming in, making his Academy debut, and being able to play his first stage match with 100 Thieves next after successfully completing his high school requirements and placing out. So now he can focus the rest of the split on performing and growing with the squad. But you look at Team Liquid, Yon and Rhino just locked in a hell of a bot lane duo to really tango and just throw down with Samira and Set. You have to be so careful when trading with them because that lane can snowball really quickly out of hand.
Wait, I just realized that's another way for them to stop all of the bullets and all the rockets that are going to be raining in from Jinx, right? Just this composition, despite how crazy it looks, feels very calculated. I'm not sure whose idea this was, but this feels like something that Spawn probably was cooking up for a long time. It's like, hey, you know how people have been playing Gwen Xin Zhao? What if we added 2 wind walls on top of that to make it impossible for AD carriers to realistically play the game? So, it is a big task for Wixie and Busio. It's 2 of the biggest zoomers that they have. And honestly, Mark, I'm going to have to ask them a question, or we're going to have to ask Kangas to ask one of them a question if they end up winning. How old were they when Beauty and a Beat came out? Because that was 2012. When Skytech said that was grade school for me, I was just like, oh, man. I had graduated high school by the time that already happened.
Yeah, I was 1 year. I was in my junior year during 2012, so man, it's just a quick age check for us. We're like, oh man, these players are so young. Some of them are still kids, right? I think who's our youngest player in the academy? They're 17. Is it Tomio?
I'll check. Tomio is quite young. I'm not sure. I have to imagine whatever the lowest age you're allowed to be, and I think it's. I'm not sure if it's 16 or 17 that you're allowed to play.
I think it's 16.
We probably have some. I know like Jojo Pyun was one of our youngest players last time around, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure who our youngest player is this year. It's something for the stats team. Maybe Kangas. You can look that up for us in the middle
Pronto,
of the game.
stat.
Pronto.
And just to give everyone an update at home, there is a bug with the lobby, so the players are remaking the lobby and just zipping through Champion Select right now. So it'll be a couple more minutes before we're finally into game. But this gives us more time to just really elaborate and kind of fill you in on some of the things that are really special about the other champion picks. I think the other thing, too, is in the past couple of weeks that Rhino has come in to fill in for Ayla since he's been playing mainly with the LCS squad. Rhino has had some hit or miss moments with Team Liquid. And because we know that when Ayla was on the squad, he's been really vocal and he really helps bring the team together. And while Rhino has had some great key moments in the past during his time on Zeus Gaming last year and was recognized as one of the top 3 supports by the end of Summer Proving Grounds, it hasn't really translated here, but one of the best moments from Rhino in his career last year was a game-changing ultimate on his time during Zeus, where I think it was Challengers Uprising, one of the first Tier 2 qualifier tournaments. And I remember in comms, Griffin, their jungler at the time, was saying, okay, guys, we can't fight this. We have to turn back. And Rhino instantly sees a play for a snap flash showmaker. And then they just win the fight, comboing off of Orion Shockwave. And Griffin's just like, oh, okay.
I remember. It took me a while to remember what you were talking about, but yeah, I remember the play now. It's just the amount of trust that you have to have something like that when everyone's like, no, we need to back out. It's plays over, and then you're just like, nah, we go for this. And everybody just follows you up instantly. Great stuff coming out from right now. Now, the other member that I want to take a little bit of time to look at is Bradley. Again, he's kind of the biggest wild card in a lot of ways that we have on Team Liquid. He's had some great games, and he's had some not so great games as well as he transitions up towards the top lane. But he is playing one of the few champions that he has had an opportunity to play in both the mid lane and the top lane. Back during his days with Wildcard Red, he actually played a lot of Gwen mid, even when it wasn't something that a lot of people were necessarily looking at as one of the strongest champions, and at least in the position. And now he's taking it back up to the top lane as the champion has resurfaced to the top of the meta and going up against Gamsu. I feel like if there's a champion that Bradley is not just going to have a decent time but look to punish the lane on, it's going to be the Gwen.
This is one of those lanes where I think all of last week we saw the Gwen Renekton matchup go towards the Gwen so many times as soon as they hit level 6. I think it was like there was a series where both times Renekton's kind of winning early, but they don't really capitalize on it. As soon as the Gwen hits level 6, all in with the needlework, solo kill. And that happened on reverse side of the matchups as well. So, you know, if 100 Thieves have been doing their homework, they know that that's a possibility, and it's in Bradley's wheelhouse and arsenal of options. Team Liquid, as long as they are protecting Bradley from any potential 3-wave ganks or 3-wave dives as well, because you know that has been the bread and butter combo for something like a Renekton Nidalee combo.
Well, we'll see what Kenvi can do. We know that he likes to go for a lot of these ganks, and I think it's an opportunity for them to continue building up a lot of pressure. Gamsu going with the Conqueror this time around as we finally load onto the Rift.
We did it! We've made it to the promised land, gamers.
Oh my god. I just got a message from Kangas. Our youngest player this time around is Instinct, born in 2004, which I believe makes him 18. And quote from Kangas, born 1 year before the Xbox 360 was released.
I think he's still technically 17. He'll turn 18 later this summer. Because I remember when he made his amateur debut competing, he had just turned 15, and he was playing on Mirage Esports. And before he turned 15, he was like 14. And I remember a lot of like the hype around was like, dude, this kid is 14 years old and he's already coming. And back then he was known as a Cillian, but everyone was so impressed by him. And then that's where he eventually made his way onto the next class of 100 Thieves next during the second year. Yeah. And then he and Busio, who still remained on 100 Thieves Academy. Instinct made his way to TSM, as Jan is going to get found out by a Winner's Bite. 100 Thieves just going in for the delayed level 1 invade.
Yeah, and Armeo going to be forced to start on the Wolves. Jan trying to get a little bit of damage down, but they will be conceding this over here in just a moment. So 100 Thieves, I mean, this is very typical. You have a Braum, you have it Nidalee. You want to get these plays going off at the very beginning. And trying to remember who said it. Mark, they were just saying like, yeah, I would play more Nidalee, but sorry, Champ sucks. I know it's you. You say it sometimes.
Oh man, no, that was me. That's my exact quote. It's
no, but we had one of the players say it too.
Oh, I think
who were we talking to?
XU. XU.
Yeah,
did it during,
XU.
Yeah, when they were talking about like the two favorite champions, Lee Sin and Graves, and he's like, I mean, my Nidalee's clean, but Nidalee's just not that great right now. And then the thing is, as we talked about before, Kenvi has seen both sides of the coin, right? They snowball the Nidalee, and it just runs over everyone, right? But when it doesn't fall and it doesn't get ahead, it just doesn't do anything the later the game goes.
So getting this first buff is really good. He's going for a denial path right now as Harry takes a turret shot, but gets a trade onto Jimian. Kenvi goes and cleans out Armeo's bottom half of the jungle, does his own red buff, and is now moving towards the top half, trying to match Armeo. He knows there's a potential 2v2 brewing, and Kenvi right on Armeo's heels.
Probably is going to have to flash unless he can find a spear. Oh, beautiful spear. Kenvi flashing forward, not pouncing quite yet. Oh, but he pounced forward. Oh, no.
Oh, Kenvi.
And Bradley will result with the first blood.
Okay, that's absolutely huge. It wasn't Gamsu that ends up going down, but Kenvi, an uncharacteristic misplay, is going to be giving it right on back. The play goes in favor of Team Liquid in a 2v2 that they had no right of winning. You're just shocked.
Yeah, I'm a little caught off guard by that. That's something that we don't see And we're going to get the chance to see this replay once again. Right here, flash for the takedown, and then you can follow up with the pounce, either a way to distance yourself or go for the empowered. But I think just a slight misclick doesn't get the empowered range to finish him off. As Rhino is waiting here in the wings to see if Jimian would step up and could go for a flash play. But it looks like there won't be a way for him to really find any success in the mid lane.
Yeah. Now, one other thing that I want to kind of briefly touch on, so we haven't talked about it just quite yet. We've kind of neglected to talk about Harry and Jimian thus far. But as a Twisted Fate player, this matchup is awful. You hate it. Like, you can basically never get a gold card onto Harry whenever it matters. And here we go, Jimian.
Gold card, flash away. Armeo stuck under the tower, no flash available. But Harry now is going to take his chances against Kenvi. Blocks the spear with the wind wall. And they are just dashing in between turrets. Jimian, no flash, sub 200 HP. Absolutely brutal.
Crazy stuff, right? And that's what happens. You just can't hit the gold cards on the targets that you need to because the wind wall is always there, and you can do it on reaction.
Oh, I don't think it's going to really find the spear, though. It's too far away, and Gamsu just flashed forward. He gets slice and dice away. Rhino popping
Everybody's
the ignite.
here.
Right. Everyone's here, Josh. It's a party in the mid lane, but no one's going to go down.
P-A-R-T-Y. Anyway, Bradley, at the same time, topside has had all this time to free farm while Gamsu rotates down. And look at all the farm that Gamsu is going to be missing. We are definitely on the reverse side of the coin right now, Mark. Team Liquid are coming up super big because both the Renekton and Nidalee have been prevented from having a good early game. The only person who's suffering on Team Liquid right now is Yan, because Rhino spent so much time looking for that dive. Yan wasn't really able to do anything about this lane state. Busio stuck around for a lot longer, and the freeze down here is absolutely brutal and will remain so for a little while longer. And Kenvi trying to punish it before Yan and Rhino can reset it.
Armeo is on the bottom quadrant, but he's not in the vicinity to really help and assist. Yan and Rhino going to be able to dodge out. Oh my god!
Nice
Beautiful
walk.
W from Yan. Prevents the winner's bite from connecting, and Rhino's able to walk out alive. And
here.
Armeo now, he can look for a counter gank option. He knows that Kenvi, no flash available, neither from Busio, as he just burned it looking for that play. Team Liquid are going to be able to push 100 Thieves back.
Yeah, great play coming out from Yan. Great ability to just stop any of that damage from coming through. So Team Liquid starting to win across the map. I was expecting 100 Thieves to be favored, but going for such a high volatility strategy like this one suddenly means that, you know, when things don't go your way, when Kenvi is put behind, the game starts to crumble. Now, the one thing they have to be careful of is Kenvi still down on the bottom side, but Armeo potentially trying to find him in rotation.
I'm kind of fearing for Gamsu right now. The wave is pushed up. He's not level 6, whereas Bradley has the ignite advantage as well as needlework. But there's going to be a fight on the bottom side of the map. Armeo, no flash available. This is going to be a great punish from 100 Thieves, taking advantage of that summoner spell advantage.
There you go. That's what I was about to talk about, is the fact that Jimian on this Twisted Fate gives them a bit of a fallback win condition. He can start making these picks around the map, and so now that he's level 6, we have to pay a lot of attention to where he uses his ult. The first one was successful, getting his team's first kill of the game, but he's still down 20 CS. This is the first step on a ladder that's going to take them a long time to climb.
And because this composition is so reliant on being the one to snowball, when you're the one that makes an aggressive move and it flops, it takes so much effort just to bring you back to where you have to be. And Team Liquid, they have the scaling advantage on their side as well. I mean, Wixie is their late game insurance, but there's so many tools, as you already talked about during the draft, to block incoming damage from Wixie.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what they can actually do about it. Bradley, again, remember earlier when we were looking at Surdy versus Viper and saying, like, hey, this is going to be a bit of a tough one for Surdy. And this was the same thing we said at the very beginning. Bradley going to be having some difficulties up against Gamsu probably, but there's a champion you can do it on. It's going to be the Gwen, up 30 CS at 8 minutes. Absolutely massive lead coming through on the top side of the map. And we were saying previously that this is a matchup that can often be Gwen favored just because at level 6 the needlework does absolutely stupid damage. So Bradley now going to be trying to transfer his lead a little bit around the map, pick up the Rift Herald, and deny another early objective from a team that we were expecting to have a lot of success earlier.
Yeah, both Bradley and Armeo have ultimates available. Gamsu, yes, he does, but Kenvi is nowhere in sight, and he just turned level 6, so there's no way that he could have contested.
Kind of bold coming out from Romeo, just willing to walk up alongside Gamsu. I feel like Gamsu just had to respect the fact that he didn't know if Bradley had hopped the wall. But there might have been an opportunity for a play there, but he needs to make sure that he continues getting all of his farm. Now Jimmy getting close to his second ultimate of the game. Does have the unsealed spellbook and will have access to this Ignite to try and get that last bit of damage down. And you're seeing Kenvi also hovering around, even if he doesn't go for the gank, just wants to hang out so that he can create space for Jimmy Dole. Look at that. What do you do?
Oh, man. And
What do you
even
do?
with the gold card, the wind wall just prevents it from ever coming out.
Yeah, it's brutal, right? Like, it takes so long for Twisted Fate to pull out the card, and Harry's just like, haha, I am going to throw a wind wall, and then you cannot hit me. And Jimmy's just like, okay, fine. Okay, can I hit you now? And Yasuo's like, no, I dash back through your wave on the other side of it now. Come over here.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's Twisted Fate.
You don't want to, you don't want to.
It's like when they talk about, hey, don't accept candy from strangers. Yasuo is the stranger in this case, and Twisted Fate is just trying to get the farm, but it's not worth his life. However, if he's got friends, an angry, scary cat can look for it. Spear's going to connect, but because Armeo is there, they could easily turn it around with a Moonfall into Last Breath combo, and that's something that 100 Thieves don't want to mess with.
Yeah, that was the mind game, though, coming out from Jimmy and making sure that he actually wins it this time, creating a space where Harry has to use or chooses to use the wind wall early in order to make sure that he doesn't take that much damage in return. And even with the spear landing, it's not enough for 100 Thieves to find much of an advantage. And Team Liquid are the ones who are now creating space around this dragon. They're getting all the vision down, and Harry, looking around, he's level 9 to Busio and Rhino's level 5.
Monka W, man.
That's spooky.
Yeah,
Harry,
I'm struggling to find words because at this point, Team Liquid are in such a great spot that they haven't completely eclipsed the window where Nidalee, Renekton, and Twisted Fate can just start taking over, because there's still a mid-game window once they hit the first mythic items, because no one is going to be durable enough to withstand the burst combo as long as you land all your crowd control and you land a max range spear into full burst from Nidalee. But at this point, they have control of the bottom side of the map. They have threat with Moonfall into Last Breath. And it's a bunch of squishy members from the side of 100 Thieves. They can't take up all that burst damage, and they can't withstand a CC combo like that. So they have to seed this first dragon of the game.
it's going to be a tough spot, right? You touched on the fallback win condition of Wixie, and so I think the thing we're going to have to be looking at, right, is, well, one, if Rhino can find this play to work out.
Okay, Flash.
Busio.
Showmaker into Busio. Busio still has Flash available, but he's taking him as much damage as he can, and they are able to answer back. But Armeo flash forward into the Moonfall, and Last Breath will follow up. It's going to force all the summoner spells from both Wixie and Busio.
Okay, but they don't actually find any of the kills. So Team Liquid, we get to see hints of why the composition is going to be so scary later on. But Jan never got up to rank S, wasn't able to find that ultimate. And Jimmy going to be picking up some opportunities to grab the plate, but still down 20 CS. And as the turn switches, it is now Team Liquid's turn to play on the defensive, because Kenvi up on the top side, taking away some of these camps and threatening potential dive onto Bradley, but not going to be willing to go for it just because you don't have Jimmy in support.
And Gamsu has been able to somewhat catch back up. We saw a disastrous 40 CS lead or deficit for him. He's caught back up. He's now only within 20 CS. Team Liquid are going to pop this Rift Herald before it times out. Get some plates over on Harry's side. It's not going to take down the turret anytime soon. Rhino's also here just to make sure that Harry can crash this successfully. And they're going to get a lot of vision control and as well take some camps away from Kempy's side.
Yeah. It's been a couple times now that the Raptors have been picked up by Team Liquid, and Kenvi just missing out on all of that. But Rhino, again, moving up. He's been kind of living in this part of the jungle quite a bit. It's part of why we are seeing Jan falling a little bit behind Jinx. The other big reason is the range differential is brutal. But Gamsu, both of us know you can't really go for this kind of fight right now in the 1v1 just because Bradley, that ultimate, the needlework, does crazy amounts of damage all at once. And so we kind of wait once again for these two teams to settle down and decide where it is the next fight's going to be. There's another Rift Herald coming up in a couple minutes, and in 3 minutes, Ocean Dragon is available.
And note here, 100 Thieves have just picked up a bunch of mythic completions. Wixie with the Kraken, Everfrost for Jimian, and then Kemvi, now Protobelt available. And no magic resist being built earlier other than Rhino. So these max range spears will hurt. As long as you can connect them onto a gold card stunned target, It's a way for 100 Thieves to slowly make their way back into the game and make sure that they can start taking control of the mid game before the timer runs out on Team Liquid's composition.
Interesting build choice also coming out from Harry, right? He's got the Noon Quiver, but he also has a Zeal. Those two don't build into anything together. Oh, Jimmy going bottom lane.
Oh, but he stops Jimmy from being able to port. No successful Destiny play will come out from the side of 100 Thieves. A teleport comes out from Harry just to make sure that nothing more came from it. But Rhino able to save what could have been really disaster for Team Liquid.
Spear lands onto Harry as they start moving around, but Armeo also going to be picking up the slack, right? The teleport coming out from Harry, it needs to be early, right? It takes a long time to channel, and if you are, you know, it is better to be wrong and show up anyway than it is to be late and not go for the teleport at all. But the gold lead has diminished, right? There's no lead currently available for Team Liquid. The CS lead coming out in the bottom lane is starting to build up 1,000 gold in favor of Wixie at this point. But again, look at the top lane. We were saying that Bradley might have some success here on the Gwen. He's currently up 1,500 all on his own.
Balance between both teams. The late game insurance for 100 Thieves in their marksman. Whereas for Team Liquid, there's a lot of threats that you have to be careful about, and really only one true frontliner in Rhino's set. Everyone else,
look at that. What do you do?
Not fun. Oh, Everfrost does land. Can he find the spear? Not going to find it. Oh, it's not quite off sync. Oh, Harry with the last steal. Tempest interrupts Kenvi before he gets a chance to find the takedown. Empowered auto attack. Harry will be able to survive with the skin of his teeth.
Man, we get to see both sides of the Twisted Fate Yasuo matchup on display right there. Jimmy forced to use the flash in order to try and keep up, and Harry just able to flash right on back. So, as we wait, we got 40 seconds left before the next dragon is actually going to be spawning, and crucially, Twisted Fate with no flash, going to be a huge target for Team Liquid in this next fight. Twisted Fate and Jinx are both going to be champions with low mobility that Diana and Yasuo can actually look to prey on. And with how well Wixie has been navigating a lot of these fights, I'm curious to see how well he will actually be able to stay away and keep himself alive against the onslaught of Team Liquid.
Yeah, there's a notable window where Wixie... Oh, no.
Wixie...
Okay, there's no way he walks through the jungle, right? Oh, no.
I mean, he walks, but there's only Rhino.
Okay. I was a little spooked. However, Rhino is staying in his position, and he has a flank angle.
Ooh. Watch Bradley. Jimmy goes in.
Jimmy is going to spot that. Rhino's on the backside, but if 100 Thieves are the first people to engage this fight, maybe they can clean it up before Rhino gets in position, but Bradley is teleported and it's stalling out their engage timers. Kenvi finds a spear on Armeo, takes him out. No Moonfall combo to set up the last breath. Harry also bites the dust as well. 100 Thieves! They've somehow done it. They've found the thread in the needle to be able to maneuver around this deadly wombo, and it's Team Liquid who are in shambles.
Team Liquid not able to find any of the targets that they need. The engage was not there. We said that Armeo was the one who had the big target painted on him, but it's Kenvi who actually finds the fight, and now they're trying to turn to Gamsu.
Gamsu gonna get chunked really low. Gamsu will not be able to survive. Rhino and Yan able to find one out of the 5, but 100 Thieves will still have control.
And a whole turret and the dragon will be going over to 100 Thieves. You said it, Mark, right? There's still a window for 100 Thieves to find the crowd control combos, to set Kenvi up in order to find some of these assassinations and find their way back into the game. They have a gold lead for the first time, and the game continues to hang in the balance. We know these guys are so even, but as we take a look at this fight once again, it is so chaotic between these two teams. Everybody coming in from different angles, and Armeo, as he tries to find an angle, just gets sniped by a spear, and there's nothing left for him to do because of how quickly Kenvi can make up the space. And after that, with not enough members left alive, it's just 100 Thieves running down the members of TLA.
Yeah, just great awareness from Kenvi, keeping track of who is slowed and who are easy targets to snipe out. That Glacial Fissure slow lasting for so long after the initial knockup, and Kenvi just bides his time waiting for Armeo to be distracted, trying to think about, I need to get in and make the play with the Moonfall, and probably just catches him not thinking about the spear that could have been coming in. Now, 100 Thieves, they found the mid-game window, But that window is not going to last very long, and so it's one great play, but a 1,000 gold lead is not going to win the game for you. 100 Thieves now have to take this and repetitively find more picks off of Jimmy's next Destiny, which is available now.
And Bradley potentially going to be the target, right? You see a lot of members of 100 Thieves coming down. The Destiny is out. Where's the gate?
Trying to wait out potentially Bradley's Hallowed Mist as well, but Jimmy is just going to give vision. It might be enough to lock him down. No flash available. It's just wild dashes that he's relying on. Gamsu, can he find another stun? Pops the dominance, and it's going to be Kenvi and Gamsu cleaning up.
Pretty good kiting, but Armeo getting caught out. No, he's not. They just now realize that he still gets the red buff.
He's behind enemy lines, but he's going to be able to walk over to the safety of Yon and Rhino. Numbers advantage will be created. Kenvi is walking towards him. Yon, will he force out the W? Blocking the Glacial Fissure, a teleport coming out from Harry as well. Moonfall is still available, but Armeo has no flash, so it's going to be a lot more difficult for him to get in range. Jimmy walking up with the gold card, finds the stun. Mega Death Rocket, a lot of damage coming out. 100 Thieves pushing forward. Moonfall comes out, but it's too late. Harry cannot go in on that. It was just a deterrent, but 100 Thieves are not going to be dissuaded any further, and they're going to look for another turret to take as their prize.
And 100 Thieves are pressing the issue so well. This is something that we praised them for last time around, where even though it felt like they were behind, they were the ones in control of when fights were actually happening, and that is continuing into this game. Armeo not able to find any of these engages because 100 Thieves are constantly pressuring him. They're constantly pushing him back, and when you have all these melee champions, it's either all in or nothing. And 100 Thieves able to dictate is like, I like this fight, but I'm not necessarily committed to it, whereas Team Liquid, they have to decide this is the moment, and they haven't been able to find it.
20 minutes into the game. Normally, it's at this point where we start discounting the advantage, but because 100 Thieves are finding pick after pick and catching Team Liquid out of sync, they're not able to set up these wombo combo pieces, and now they find themselves at the 20-minute mark, 2,000 gold advantage. Kenvi, in particular, almost 1,700 gold above Armeo now. I don't know if you caught this, but he bought the BM book. He's got 9 stacks available. This is the snowball strap. And Kenvi, he knows that this game is super reliant on him just getting further and further ahead, and so it's a volatile way to live, but it's the way you got to do it if you're playing Italy.
Okay, I'm just keeping a note of that. Pixel perfect next time. If we get a zoom in on the Magi's, it's somewhere between 19 and 20 minutes.
Wow.
I believe that came out, so got to keep that in mind. That burned me last time. I was 9 seconds off. Not gonna let that happen again.
Josh really out here preparing for the next Pixel Perfect game. Damn.
Who knows? Who knows? You know, you always got to make sure you're prepared. I do a lot of that, right? Mark knows I spend way too much time doing draft prep, so as long as I can't be taken by surprise, this time Kank is gonna come up and he's like, "Oh, but what time did he buy his Hextech Proto Belt?" And I'll be like, "I don't know."
We didn't keep track of it. No, go back. I'll pull up the Twitch VOD real quick and just scrub through during the break. There you go. You can get your cram session in. But for Team Liquid, about to hit the 22-minute mark, Dragon is coming up in 40 seconds. This isn't really a soul that either team is really excited about, but
I'm pretty excited if I'm a melee champion, not gonna lie.
Well, the movement speed helps you close the distance for sure, but
yeah, I
mean, it's not like Infernal Soul. Oh,
Jimmy.
No,
Jimmy
not again! Jimmyan gonna get locked up here. Can he speed on his way out? He's in the Nas area. But there's a lot of members from Team Liquid. Jimmyan's going to pop the Zona's Hourglass on the Moonfall. He's flashing towards the Engine Thieves. They've closed the distance. Showstopper comes out, but Rhino gets popped before he gets a chance to pop the Haymaker for the shield. And now Team Liquid are in disarray. They're being picked apart by the pieces. Kenvi is popping off. And 100 Thieves will be able to clean up Team Liquid and turn towards the Baron.
Great defensive play coming out from 100 Thieves. They know Team Liquid are desperate to try and bring things back, and it's going to be a total win coming out for 100 Thieves as they find 4 kills. And now, as they're going to be picking up the Baron as well, Yon can't do anything more than pick up these Raptors and say, hey, you know, that chicken was good, but it's not as good as a whole Baron and a Dragon. We get to see this again, and Jimmyan, I mean, the big thing, his ability to just play this out and buy enough space is incredibly impressive. He just needs to stay alive for the rest of the team to show up. And with the Moonfall down, Armeo finally looking for an opportunity, wasn't able to find it on even a single member this time around. 100 Thieves doing a fantastic job denying the jungler of Team Liquid at every turn.
The fact that Jimian only had to burn Flash out of his 2 summoner spells available, he was keeping track of every single important cooldown he had to dodge out on. He got hit up by the Facebreaker, which kind of sucked, but then he dodged out on the Steel Tempest that was aimed right for him. He pops the Zhonya's on the Moonfall, and then flashing away as soon as his teammates are in range, and he still has the exhaust available. This guy is turning up, because Josh, I want to turn it over to you, because I know we've had questions about Jimian coming in, and he's been really more of a facilitator rather than a hard carry player. Now, this is a spooky situation.
Oh, they think he's going to go back, but no, he goes forward. Jimian, can you do the same kind of miracle play that we just saw? It was a tough spot previously, but now Harry's going to dash through the wave. Jimian has the ultimate.
Jimian pops the Everfrost. He needs to get out of range of Marimeo before he pops the Destiny. He's looking for it. He knows that... oh, can he get available out in time? Oh, my God!
The Magician. He's out once again, deathless this game, and now Jan has to run for the hills. 100 Thieves coming up big this game, and I will admit, I've been critical of Jimian in the past. I think Jimian is having a fantastic game, though. He has been looking so good. His ability to play alive and make sure that he's not going down is going to reward them with an inhibitor turret at 25 minutes, and now Bradley's gonna have to be going, oh no, 100 Thieves are like, nah, Bradley, you're doing your thing over there. Kenvi, we've got bigger fry.
They take the middle inhibitor. Harry and Bradley were trying to split on the other side of the map. Harry is just going to take some local gold back and try and bring back this gold deficit, thanks to the objective bounty being picked up as well. Uh-oh, Bradley. Oh, Bradley. You gotta be careful, buddy. Needleware comes out. It's gonna force Kenvi away. Dodging out on the Super Mega Death Rocket as well. Spear will go wide. Team Liquid are gonna be able to barely survive a potential onslaught from Kenvi. He's at 23 stacks, by the way. That triple kill sent him from 9 to 23.
Let's go. Okay. Kenvi. Oh my God, the spear doing so much damage at this point. Look how fast this man is.
You could tell how badly Kenvi wanted it. It's like, oh man, if I could force out his flash, or if I could force out an important cooldown here, it's a huge win. And that's one of the things about Nidalee, right? If you fall behind, obviously, you don't have many game-changing cooldowns or spells that can turn the tide of a bout. But when you're ahead, that's the beauty of it. You have low cooldowns. You can constantly fish for spears, force members away from their jungle, and then he just flashes on top. Armeo can't even flash forward because the takedown and power damage goes through, even through the flash. 100 Thieves. This is textbook playstyle in the hands of Kenvi's Nidalee.
Absolutely gorgeous play coming out from 100 Thieves. Kenvi leading the charge, and Jimian, again, just trying to create some space. He's still down a lot of CS, but who cares at this point? They are doing such a good job surviving, and even just withstanding pressure is one of the big things that players can be remarkable for, and Jimian's done a fantastic job of that so far this game. Now, Team Liquid, their base starting to crumble. They still have their outer or their inner turrets in the top lane and the bottom lane, but they are running out of time to try and turn this on its head. They will always have win conditions, though, Mark. Diana Yasuo, absolutely insane combination if you can find it onto the right members. And with so much of 100 Thieves gold concentrated onto Kenvi, you have such a very clear target. But the problem is, and I don't know if Team Liquid are going to recognize this in time or be able to do anything about it, there's a stopwatch in Kenvi's inventory to make sure that he does not get hit by that engage.
And Kenvi has invested a lot of his income into just outright damage. So if Team Liquid do not blow up Kenvi in the initial engage, Kenvi's going to turn right around and swipe at them with very big cat claws. And it's going to just leave more than a dent. It is going to flay their skin alive. We're going to get really brutal up on the Rift. For 100 Thieves, the amazing thing, though, Josh, is that this game started out with a botched dive from 100 Thieves. And I thought it was going to be lights out for them.
It might end with another dive on the other side.
Oh,
No,
the teleport doesn't go through in time. 100 Thieves catches out one. They're looking for another onto Bradley. He's already popped the ignite, but Gamsu is willing to give his life for the cause so that 100 Thieves can lock down another. It's a double for Kenvi once again.
9-1 and 5, having an insane game at this point. And honestly, Mark, for everything that 100 Thieves is doing, I gotta feel for Jan, man. He's just sitting there 0-0-1, most farm, or second most farm in the game, and just like, guys, I'm not there. I can't do anything. Please fight with me. I am kind of the win condition at this point, but 100 Thieves, they're just like, yeah. I mean, if you're the win condition, then where are you? We are now pushing down on another inhibitor turret, and Harry and Bradley are still dead.
Team Liquid just have not been able to find a moment to get all 5 members, or at least the 4 core of Armeo, Harry, Jan, and Rhino to sync up and go for an engage. We saw one Moonfall Last Breath combo, and it only got the summoner spells of Wixie and Busio. There was no other chance for them to follow up on that window to catch out Wixie when he was down on summoner spells. 100 Thieves, the fact that they were able to skirt by what seemed like a huge advantage for Team Liquid after the top lane dive, I was just flabbergasted.
Yeah. So we'll see if we can see a repeat of that combo that we saw to start off the game between Harry and Armeo. The problem is, this game has become so fluid. Right, the way that 100 Thieves rotates from the bottom side to the top side super kovically makes it very, very difficult for members of Team Liquid to have much of an impact in this game. And look at the fact that there's a 3-level difference between Kenvi and Armeo, 16 to 13. Busio, 2 levels over Rhino as well, probably because of all the kills that they are participating in. Bradley trying to do something. He's, he has a gold lead, maybe, but he's definitely not having a great time in terms of experience as another turret goes down. Team Liquid desperately trying to find something.
A lot of damage already onto Jan. At least Bradley is able to put some turret pressure on the bottom side of the map, and I cannot threaten to kill Gamsu as he still has flash, or not flash, dominance available, but Bradley is able to find some gold back. But Jimmy is doing the same thing on the other side of the map, and no one can necessarily answer him because 100 Thieves are playing around his pocket as well. So if they try to engage on the Jimmy, they'll just get a repeat for life. Oh, they caught out Kenvi! Sonya's Hourglass! 100 Thieves are Kenvi, not quite any near to save him, but just as I say that, Jimmy comes in as the hero. Busio and Wixie are able to close the distance. Kenvi gets out alive, only having to pop Sonya's Hourglass and flash, and it's 100 Thieves that run down the rest of Team Liquid.
10-1 and 5. 100 Thieves are just staying alive, and Gamsu, is he going to be able to survive this one? No. Finally, somebody goes down the side of 100 Thieves, but does it even matter as another inhibitor crushed down by 100 Thieves? They can choose to try and end the game with Armeo and Rhino dead. Bradley has no ultimate. There's no way for Team Liquid to get fight started.
One Nexus turret stands between 100 Thieves and closing out game 1. Gonna pick up the second inhibitor, rotate on over to the bottom inhibitor that is exposed. There are going to be double super minions pouring into the base of Team Liquid now, and this just allows 100 Thieves to have full control of the map.
They're going to be taking away this entire jungle. The level lead between Armeo and Kenvi will continue to build, and look at this. 100 Thieves, not 100 Thieves, Team Liquid are paying towards the Baron. They are looking for a desperation play. Anything that can get them back into the game, anything that brings all 5 of them together to play for, Team Liquid need to go for. And Gamsu still dead for a couple seconds, but the trap and the fact that Kenvi is here allows 100 Thieves to know that this is happening. Jimmy uses the ult.
5,000 HP on the Baron. Can Kenvi get in there?
Dead.
He already sniped out Harry. It's going to be secured by Armeo. They find the killing blow onto Kenvi, though. That's a lot of stacks down.
Rhino.
But Super Mega Death Rocket will find its mark onto Rhino. Armeo has been left behind by the team, but as long as members can survive with the Baron buff, they can maybe make a defensive play. But it's now 2-4 from the side of 100 Thieves.
Crazy play, but Harry absolutely, he just dies to the spear, and the spear alone, and now 100 Thieves looking to end this game. It was the flip that goes through, the gold card is blocked.
In the shallow mist, Bradley's not going to survive long for this world. John tries to go in, but he gets stunned up by the gold card into Gamsu's Predator stun, man. Oh, goodness gracious, Team Liquid what seemed like a promising early start to turn around this composition. 100 Thieves flip it around, and they end in style.
Great play coming out from 100 Thieves. Again, just their ability to control when fights are happening, their pressure they were constantly exerting onto our mage to make sure that he could not go for any disengages. Great stuff. 100 Thieves looking amazing. And we are, again, reassured of something we already knew, Mark. Kenvi is good. Kenvi is a good jungler so far, and just being able to see him pop off on this signature pick just lets us know that it is something that we should always be excited for. And that was only the first half. I mean, it was a coin flip that went super in 100 Thieves' favor this time. I wonder if they're going to run it back.
It's super easy to get discouraged after your play with this Nidalee composition completely gets botched, right? Because the momentum slows down, your timers and your windows to really have a stat lead and to exact that pressure is just goes down the drain. And it really takes a lot of determination and patience to just wait for that moment, the window to spiral it out. Because normally, once you get past the 20-minute mark, that window's over. A jungler like Diana can usually outscale the Nidalee, not in just power, but also utility as well, Moonfall and Last Breath. But just 100 Thieves, props to them for finding window after window, pick after pick, to get themselves back in that game. And it's almost like that early game dive just didn't matter, because suddenly at one point Kenvi has 25 stacks on Medjais and he's just insanely fed out of his mind, as one might expect when we see peak Nidalee gameplay from Kenvi. But as we're wrapping up, Josh, we got to send it to break. When we come back, though, Kangas is joining us once again for Pixel Perfect, so see you then.